Hi everybody and welcome back to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. And today we're making pie crust. Pie crust that we can use right away or put in the freezer. 4 ingredients, the easiest pie crust you'll ever make. No putting beans, foil, anything to cook that pie shell. I'm going to show you how I do it. This is a chocolate cream pie with chocolate chips on top. I'm using a mixer today to make my pie crust. You could use it in a bowl with a fork, but I'm using a mixer. Now with my mixer, I have 3 different attachments. I could literally use any of the 3 and it would work. So whatever attachment you have, know that you can make this pie crust. So I'm just attaching it onto my mixer and everything is going to go into there. Now what do I need? I need 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of table salt, 2/3 cup of Crisco plus 2 tablespoons, and 6 tablespoons of water. Now the reason I am using table salt today instead of my regular Himalayan salt or my Celtic salt is because when you're mixing baking things and you don't have a lot of liquid, you're better off using table salt so that it permeates through the entire thing instead of clumping up. So everything is going to go into my mixer. So first goes the flour, 2 cups. Then I'm going to put the Crisco in. And I'm just going to use a spatula. Now remember that's 2/3 cup plus 2 tablespoons. So we'll just pop that in, get everything out of the cup. And then we're going to put in the salt. And I'm going to sprinkle that all over everything. Now we're going to mix this together about on a medium speed so that it becomes crumbly and it becomes very incorporated. And that's a key to a good pie crust. It only takes a few minutes and you can see all those crumbles. If you still have big pieces of the Crisco or butter if you're using that, just mix it a little bit longer. Trick with butter, make sure it's cubed up and it's very cold. Now after I get that all incorporated the way I want it, we are going to start to add the water. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water at a time. The very most I'm going to use is 6 tablespoons. I want the water very cold. And I'm just going to pour a little bit in, mix it. Pour a little bit in and mix it. You don't want to add it too quickly. Now you don't want to, also you don't want to mix it too much, because then it's not going to be flaky and you wanted a flaky crust. But see how all of a sudden it starts to pull itself together. So I really only used about 5.5 tablespoons of water. So we're going to turn that off and see how it's a beautiful pastry. So this pie dough, if you can't make your pie right now, wrap it up and put it in the refrigerator. Now this is how I hang my little mat that I do my pie crust when I'm rolling it out. And it hangs in the door of the pantry so I don't have to roll it up and it never makes wrinkles on it. I can make 2 pie crusts out of the amount we use today. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to rip it in half and put the other to the side. Now one of these pies I'm going to make a pie today. The other one I'm going to cover and put in the freezer for another day. I've lightly dusted it with flour. I'm just going to take some of that flour, put a little bit on my rolling pin. You don't want to add too much flour at any time because it will make it drier. It won't be the great fluffy pie crust that you remember your grandmother making. So we're just going to add a little bit of flour. We're kind of flattening that ball out. I don't use the handles of my rolling pin. I just move it with the main part of the rolling pin. It's not right or wrong. It's however you want to do it. Turning it over, spreading some flour around there, and see how we're not using very much at all. And then I'm just going to roll it out, and you want to make it larger than what your pie pan is. By about 1 inch, really, if not more, because I like to turn my crust under. So I'm just going to stretch that all out. And I end up with, oh, it's probably between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. And that's a good thickness for a pie crust. See how that pie pan will just fit right on there? And today we're making a chocolate pie with chocolate chips on top of it. And I've halved it and then quartered it. Easy to pick up. If your pie dough is too sticky, it needs more flour in there. And you can do that when you're rolling it out or before you take it out of the mixing bowl. So I put it the first half, and then we're just going to flip that right over. And we're just going to just adjust it. We'll move the dough softly around. Now, will you have some spots that may not cover it all? Just rip part of those longer pieces off and just squeeze them into the pie crust. It will work fine. Anytime you have a split or a crease or you need some more pie dough, just do that. I'm going to press that in on the sides and on the bottom because I want it to be a snug fit in there. Then I'm going to start turning the edges over. And this is something I just like to do. You don't have to. You can cut it with a knife. But see how it's going to extend over the edge of the pie pan? Just about 1/4 of an inch or so. You can always stretch the dough a little bit if you need a little bit more. And I'm just going to go all the way around till I have it all tucked under. Now this is a little fun little tool that I have to make designs on the edges. It's quick, it's easy. I have a swirl, a leaf, and a heart. And I'm going to use a couple of them today. And I'm just going to go around. When I get all the way around, if I need to press again, that's totally okay. If it starts to stick, just a tiny bit of flour. Not very much, just a tiny bit. And see how I'm just going all the way around? And it'll just overlap. You just line it up and press it down. And then I can just take a look and do I need to press any once again? See that right there? Just line it up and press it again. And it's really decorative and easy way to do it. We're all about an easy pie crust. Now at this point, oh, see how it's all the way around that edge? At this point, a lot of people will line theirs with foil, they'll put bags of beans in there, they'll do all these things so that when it's baking, it doesn't puff up too much. I use a fork. And so first of all, I go around the entire pie pan on the sides. And then I go in the middle at about probably 1/4 of an inch. It's not rocket science. So a little bit more or less, it's totally okay. And we're just gonna make those dots everywhere. Now my oven is at 425 degrees and it's gonna bake for 10 minutes. If you wanna do it a little slower, at 350, it'll take you about 20 minutes. And I'm gonna do my other one, and so you can see the hearts on the left and the leaves on the right. Now I'm washing everything. It's just on my counter, or my cabinet, draining. And here are my pies at about 5 minutes. So they've been in the oven for about 5 minutes, but I needed them about 10 minutes. So here they are at 10 minutes. Just golden brown on the edges. It's perfect. So I'm taking them out of the oven. They are going to cool completely. In the meantime, I made some chocolate pudding. And I put that in one of the cooled pans. I sprinkled it with chocolate chips. It's very thick, luscious, and it's going to make a wonderful pie. Well, I hope next time you make a pie shell, you use my recipe. It works out time and time and time again. Always like, subscribe, share with the world. And if you'd like to be a member, remember my membership's only 99 cents. And I will see you next time.